Hi everyone, welcome back. We're going to continue with it's the second servant song, I think, in Isaiah 49. We finished last time with verse 3. He said to me, Avdi ata, you are my servant, Israel, in whom I am glorified. And we finished verse 3 last time, so let's pick it up with verse 4. I will just pronounce verse 4, and I'll give you a chance to pronounce and read as far as you can. So verse 4, Va'ani amarti, lerik yagati, letohu vehevel, kochi kilieti, hakein mishpati et Adonai, ufe ulati et Elohai. So go ahead, pause the video, and translate as far as you can. Okay, Va'ani, but as for me, I said, and then reek is not a very common word, you may not have known it, but it's just for nothing or pointlessly or in vain or something like that. We get three parallel terms here. And yaga means to labor. It's just a cow once yes perfect. So in prophetic call narratives, it's very common to get an objection or something like that. This isn't really an objection to his own calling, but it is this sense of dissonance with verse 3. Maybe God's calling me as a servant, but I have accomplished absolutely nothing in my whole life of ministry, the servant says. So for nothing I've labored, for tohu and hebel, kochi, my strength, I've consumed or finished. The root here is kala, it's a PL verb, another one's yes perfect. So I've consumed my strength for tohu and hebel, tohu from Genesis 1:2. I don't know the right, tohu means empty or formless. For nothing, for chaos. I don't quite know the right translation here. For nothing, and for hebel, which means a breath or vanity or something like that. So the servant's been working hard, but he has absolutely nothing to show for it. If that's how you feel in ministry, then you're in good company. So the servant is not saying verse 4 to disbelieve or discredit verse 3. He's just saying my role as God's servant doesn't obviously mean everything works out for me perfectly. Akain can mean therefore or surely. It can also oppositely be a strong contrastive. And that's what it means here. But surely, mishpati et Adonai. My mishpat is with the Lord, my justice, or my judgment, or my vindication. That vindication is not really the right translation. My right, my case, the value of his life, and what decisions others make about him, whether or not he really is God's servant who accomplished everything. It's entirely with the Lord. The servant does not self-justify. He leaves it entirely with God. And my pa'al, my work is with my God. So whatever his work is worth and the work itself, the servant doesn't try to demonstrate or establish that himself. He leaves it entirely with God. Verse 5, Ve'ata amar Adonai. But now Yahweh says, Yotzeri, so we have a cow participle here with a 1cs suffix. The one forming me, mebeten, from the womb, as a servant for him, le'eved lo, as a servant for him. That's not the quote there. Leshovev Yaakov Eliv. Now this is a polel from Shuv. Shuv. Put the dot in the wrong place there. Sorry about that. It's a polel verb. So when you have a biconsonantal verb, if you want to put it in the PL, it's tough. You can't double a vowel, so you reduplicate the last consonant. The lamed out front tells you it's infinitive construct. So to return or to restore Jacob to him, and Israel, lo ye asef. Now there's a kativ kare. I've cut and pasted this from BibleWorks, and that's how they show kativ kare. Lo means not, but the kare is low like that to him, which would make a lot more sense in context. I suppose you could say Israel is not gathered, and that's why he needs to restore him. I suppose it's possible to read that way. I think it's more likely Israel will be gathered to him. I think that would make more sense. So we see the servant's purpose here, to spiritually restore Jacob to him, to God. Now, this little line, it's a lot of English translation, they put it in parentheses or with dashes or something like that. It would apparently fit better here, except otherwise we wouldn't know what Yahweh says, or maybe not. It's just a ve'yiktol, not the consecutive imperfect, but the simple vav imperfect. So it doesn't show sequence from the prior, from what's prior. I'm really not sure what it's doing here. It seems to be a little bit out of place. But we do see ekabed be'ainai Adonai. I am honored. It's a nifal verb because you have a doubled first root letter and a long a vowel under the first root letter. I am honored in the eyes of the Lord. My God is my strength. So we see the servant's discouragement. Externally and empirically, he just has wrong line. There's the servant's discouragement in the first part of verse 4. He just has nothing to show for all his work. But he doesn't let it bother him. He leaves it entirely with God. And not only that, he is very honored in God's eyes. And he still has this mission to restore Israel to God, because Israel's spiritually blind. And he says, one more verse, Nakel mihiyoteka li eved. Nakel is from kalal, and it's a nifal verb. Kalal means to curse or be slight or insignificant or trifling or something. It's a 3 verb in the sense of it is too small from you being for me a servant. It's too small a thing. This is a privative min beginning the infinitive construct of haya. It's too small a thing for you to be to me a servant. Lehakim, hiphil infinitive construct of kum, to establish the tribes of Jacob, and the Netzirei Yisrael Lahashuv. There's another Ketiv Karei here. The Karei, we'll read it as a Cal passive participle. The guarded ones of Israel to restore, or the preserved ones of Israel to restore. It's too small for you to do that. I give you as a light to the nations, to be my salvation unto the end of the earth. So with the result that my salvation is going to extend to the end of the earth. So God looks at this individual servant whom he appoints to win his own people back to him and says, that's not impressive enough. It's too small a thing. You're going to take up the mantle of a light to the nations from chapter 42 so that the whole world will be saved. That's what this individual is going to accomplish. This individual is deeply trusting, but boy, he needs to trust because everything seems to be in vain. Okay, we've got one more verse in this second servant song, but it's pretty complicated, so we'll leave that for next time. Thanks, everyone. If I went too quickly or something didn't make sense, leave a comment, and thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it. Bye for now.